Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, Overline Football. Today's video, as you've seen by the title on YouTube, it is about Liverpool and must Liverpool finish in the top 4 in the Premier League this season. First of all, Harry, Liverpool currently sit, I believe, 6th in the Premier League after their win yesterday. First of all, do you reckon Champions League is a must for them this season, the top 4? Do you reckon it's...
Yeah. Well, a bit alien from winning yesterday, wasn't it? They've not won a game in, feels like bloody ages, doesn't it? Yes, with the quality they have, even with the injuries, I think top 4 is probably a must for them. They need Champions League football next season to go from winning the league by so much to only making top 4, to not only making top 4, to falling out of the top 4 is like such a massive fall. It's like City had a fall from winning the league the season before, but they finished second at the end of the day.
The only one I remember specifically doing a massive fall was when Chelsea won the league.
Yeah.
And then I think they like,
sacked Mourinho on the season.
They were like 13th or something in like January.
But they won the Champions League that season, didn't they? And got into the top 4. Was that under Di Matteo?
Was that season?
I talk about that season.
Could
have been twice then. They could have done that twice. You could have been thinking about a different thing.
No, because remember Hazard was playing. That was the one, because Leicester won the league that season.
Right, okay, so you're thinking of a different season to me then.
I think they won the league with Conte, and the season after, Leicester won the league, and then obviously Hazard did that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think as well, Champions League is a must. If they don't finish in top 4, actually, it could be in trouble, really. Klopp,
well, you've got to look at the competitors, haven't you? So City aren't falling out of the top 4, believe it or not. United are looking pretty solid in second, so it is third, fourth. That's up for grabs. Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea, and Liverpool are probably the main 4. Who'd have thought would be saying West Ham, by the way? Crazy.
Everton will win their 2 games in hand.
Everton as
they
well.
They go to 4th from 7th. Spurs win the game in hand. They go a point behind Liverpool.
Spurs, yeah, you can't really count.
So Arsenal, quite far behind now. But they beat Leicester. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to say is, Liverpool have got to get top 4 basically. I mean, if you're gonna have all this 25-year wait or some ridiculous wait to win the Premier League, and the next season after, just not even finishing the top 4, it's just not. Doesn't sit right. I mean, speaking of the Champions League anyway, they are currently 2-0 up against Leipzig in the first leg. Do you think they can beat Leipzig and get through the next round, or?
Oh yeah, they're through against Leipzig already, I'd say. Unless there's a massive collapse, but I can't see it. Like Liverpool have, apart from the Villa game, they've not really collapsed this season. Like they've had a poor defence, but they've not collapsed. Maybe Leicester, but no. Liverpool are the sort of side that's weird. It's like they're playing so rubbish, but you can still see them having a decent run of it in the Champions League. Like one-off games, you know, a little bit of luck goes their way. You know, a player goes off injured, a player makes a stupid challenge and gets sent off. You know, anything. It depends on the draw as well, to be fair. But I thought they'd struggle against Leipzig, and they kind of made light work of it. I don't know if that was more to do with Leipzig or not, because I didn't watch that game that night.
Well, they wasn't in Leipzig anyway, was it? They're playing away, they're playing like Bulgaria, so weren't they? So
yeah, but I don't know if them winning was more to do with Liverpool's quality or more to do with Leipzig not being on it. And cause I heard that Leipzig kind of caused their own problems for the 2 goals, but I don't know if that Liverpool kind of deserved it on the balance of play or not. So it's hard for me to say.
Leipzig currently top of the Bundesliga as of today. So they're also top of the Bundesliga, so it's not a weak side to play against, definitely.
Nope. They're definitely capable of coming back, Leipzig, but Liverpool at this moment in time are not playing really, really well. They won last night, but that was against a team that's got 11 points in the league. I still think I still maintain that I think Liverpool will sneak into the top 4. I think Leicester's injuries at this moment in time will be a big test.
Madison and Barnes were injured recently as well.
And Barnes, yeah. So Madison wasn't available yesterday. I don't know how long it is till he's back. I don't think it was a long. I think it was a hip injury. But Barnes is now. He's going to be for the vast majority of the season, remainder of the season. And we saw last season that I think Leicester won like 2 out of the remaining 14 after Project Restart or something close to that stat, and they dropped out the top 4 at the expense of United and Chelsea. So it could be something similar. Now Tuchel seems to have got a rhythm out of Chelsea. So if I had to predict, I think Liverpool sneak in with Chelsea. Talking
about the attacking prowess of Liverpool, Salah 17 Premier League goals this season, and a big gap to Mane and Firmino, both on 7. Do you think that's a problem for Liverpool, or do you think that's about right, realistically, for the goals?
They need to freshen something up. They need a proper number 9, don't they? They almost need like an Erling Haaland. I think Firmino last night was I don't think he even got credited with the goal in the end. Did he go to an own goal? I think he got given as an own goal in the end. But he's just been so wasteful in front of goal. But Salah's stats are just constantly there.
Oh, yeah.
Mane's stats are normal there. He's been having a bit of an off season, but he will constantly score your goals.
You don't realise that Salah, you think he's having an off season, and he's still got 17 goals. Somehow he like picks up a goal against like a 1-1 or something like that. He gets one of those goals in those games, and you just don't recognise.
Well, you think of the games he's got battered in: the Leicester 3-1, City 4-1, the Villa 7-2. Salah got all of them goals.
I know.
So but he's still performing really well. I think they're missing a number 9, first of all, a proper number 9 who's going to score them 20 a season. And they're missing a goal scoring midfielder because there's no one in that midfield now that's... I mean, look at the team that's probably going to win the league. City, Ilkay Gundogan's on 11 Premier League goals. So they've got more of a goal scoring midfielder. Whether the lad last night, the young lad Curtis Jones, can become that for Liverpool.
Well, I was going to speak about Curtis Jones, and I feel like this season he's really mature, and I feel like he's possibly one... If Henderson does eventually, I think...
He's out for a while, isn't he?
I think if Henderson peels off now, after the end of the season, like next season, he starts not decreasing, but playing not as good as he did. Curtis Jones could be the next Gerrard for Liverpool and be that role. Henderson.
It'd be interesting to see him when they've got a fully fit midfield. So if they've got Fabinho as the holding role, and then Thiago with him or Henderson with him, it'd be interesting to see how he performs then. But definitely bright signs from this season. But they need someone, I think, that can provide 7, 8, 9 goals a season from midfield.
Summer transfer window, what can you expect? Do you reckon for Liverpool? Ins and outs.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's difficult to say at this moment in time. The defence is still really, despite it being their worst part of the season, the defence when they have everyone fit is probably up there with the best in the league. If not, probably the best in the league. You know, Virgil van Dijk's probably best centre half in the world when he's on it. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Gomez, that's a solid back four. Maybe backup options could be a shout, because the backup options haven't been brilliant for him. And then I think it's a number 9 they've got to focus on for me, and then maybe more cover in midfield. But their starting 11, when fully fit, rivals anyone in Europe. It does. It's just they've had a bit of a freak season with injuries. I don't think it's easy. I think it's easy to totally blame it on that. I think that it has been a big part of why they've not been playing well, but I don't think it's solely down to that.
Well, we've seen in a previous video, the past 2 seasons Liverpool have had no injuries whatsoever, and you've seen how well they're performing now. The only time we do get injuries, you've seen them decrease in performance-wise. So perhaps you could look at Jurgen Klopp and think, why didn't I invest in the summer, perhaps, or invest in the season before? I
think you've got to question that. I'm not questioning Klopp, because to sit here and say Klopp isn't like a world class manager would be ludicrous. He obviously is. But he's not rotated his team as well as probably he should have done in the last 3 years, you'd say, where he's had this team, and it's all catching up on him now. Maybe he probably didn't expect, and you don't really expect the scale of the injuries that they've had. You know, it's not like they've been out for a few weeks at a time. Like, they've had 3 or 4 players that are now out for the season. You know, Matip, Gomez and Van Dijk, all 3 centre halves out for the season. Henderson is out now for the majority of the season. Fabinho's gone missing wherever he is. Jota was missing for a lot of the season just after he come in and made a brilliant impact. And as soon as he's come back, he was ill yesterday. So, but I think there is the non-rotation of that side has hampered him. But obviously there is no kind of excuse to be made for the amount of injuries they've had. It is kind of plain and simple that they have struggled because of it.
Speaking of this now, it might be a good question for all you to answer as well. Do you think Van Dijk has now got a lot more pressure right now when he returns, or do you reckon he's a lot more, thank God you're here, just play how you want, you're going to be better than anyone we've got? Or...
I still think when he returns he'll still be just as good. Obviously the question marks is, does the knee injury affect him? You've seen a lot of players come back from knee injuries and they've had a lot of muscle injuries. It's a good question. I just think his presence alone will be a big boost for them, just having him on the team sheet, and obviously strikers. I think strikers go into games in Liverpool thinking we can get this defence. When Van Dijk's there, I feel like there's more of a hesitancy, especially if they're playing like kids or lads who've just come into the team. I think that his presence alone, and just having a settled back four for once for 5 or 6 games, will just getting them gelling together again and playing again. It'll be a big season for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool next season. If they can, it feels weird to say because they have just won a Champions League and a Premier League, but I think next season, in terms of this cycle of players, will be a big season to see if they do need like a kind of total revamp, or it has just been like a one-off injuries. Like Liverpool, don't forget they won the league last season, but they've been going at it constantly for two years.
That's what I was saying to you.
Yeah, they didn't win the league the year before, but they missed out to Manchester City when they had 97 points and City had 98. So they virtually, if you think about that, in any other season, bar one, when City won it with 100 points, they won the league. So they've been going at it for 2 years. Bit of wear out, bit of a break season, kind of like what City had last year, a bit of burnout. It'd be interesting to see how they perform next season. If they can raise their levels again and go again and win another title next season, you can kind of put it down to the injuries. But if there's another season where they're struggling, because I know a lot of them have been saying that it's not just the defence, it's the quality of the front three hasn't been, no matter, like the stats have been pretty good, like especially from Salah. Salah's top goal scorer in the league.
Yeah.
But like the quality in and around the box, creating chances hasn't been as good as it normally has been. Trent's brilliant and Robertson's brilliant, but their creativity hasn't been as good as it has in previous seasons.
I think now, the past 2 seasons as well, I think clubs have realised the way Liverpool play. I think the past 2 seasons they haven't been able to deal with it, the constant pressure and the amount of times Salah and Firmino and Mane run at you. I think this season especially, I think more clubs just want to just hang back. I think a lot of clubs against Liverpool the past 2 seasons have just tried to attack them as well.
Yeah.
Like, unlike Man City, they always, every team parts the bus against Man City. We all know that. But I feel like against Liverpool they don't. And now they've realised now this season, if they just stay where they are, Arnold's going to constantly pass the ball into the 6-yard box all the time from across. Just stay there, head it out every time. It's easy as that. And then you can do them on a counter like the Burnley's done, because you a quick ball over the top. Like the defenders currently in the team right now aren't strong enough than Van Dijk or say Matip for example, and then you can bar them that way and hopefully get a penalty. Because I mean the Merseyside derby, I think it's a penalty. I do. I know a lot of other people don't think it is, but at the end of the day, Arnold's made the challenge before that to tackle him, so he's made a tackle in the day, and can't believe he's gone over. Arnold's still on the deck at the end of the day from that tackle, so I feel like it's a penalty. I feel like the game they lost to, I can't believe they played.
At the end of the day,
they've lost so many more. They've lost so many games. I forgot who they played. They've just this is the first
this
one
is
they've
what I
won
was
in
going to
5.
say. You can lose big games, like it happens, like losing to City, losing to Leicester, even losing to Everton. It's a derby. Anything can happen. It's losing to Burnley, Brighton, drawing at Fulham. Who did they drew with early in the season? They've drew with a lot of team, lot of lower league, West Brom.
So is everyone though.
There's loads. Honestly, there's loads. Them sort of the games that'll hurt Liverpool, because when you kind of add the points up at the end of the season, I'm pretty sure if they would have won them games, they'll be in and about Manchester City.
Well, I think you forget as well, Sheffield United beat Man United for one. No offence on Man United, but Sheffield United beat Man United. Liverpool beat them 2-0 yesterday. Liverpool played poor. Sure, Sheffield United played even poor. That's why they won. Yeah. It's not. It wasn't a game that was good for the neutral to watch. I'll say that. But
look at the starting lineup, Jamie, of Liverpool. Apart from the centre halves, it's still their team.
Oh,
But
yeah.
obviously Alisson wasn't there last night. But in terms of like the last couple of weeks, Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, all still there. Obviously the centre halves aren't there. But Thiago, you'd say, would probably be a starter for him, and the front three is a starter.
Yeah.
So but they're missing the the 2 midfielders and the 2 centre halves really. But Henderson has played for the majority of the season. Fabinho has come in and out. The two, stating the obvious, are the 2 centre halves. But they've got to prepare better. I think, and finishing outside the top 4 would be honestly a horror season.
So
for them.
Do you reckon that if they don't win the Champions League, if they don't get the top 4, do you reckon Klopp may be in trouble?
No chance.
No chance.
He's got plenty of credit in the bank already from winning a Premier League for the first time in God knows how long and winning their 6th Champions League.
But no chance. He'll be given Ranieri. He got and then
I don't think Liverpool are that sort of club. They're not. If he was at Chelsea, yes, he'd have been gone already probably. But Liverpool, I think that he's got a lot of credit in the bank. The fans love him. There's no one. I don't think he's calling for his head. There is no fan pressure. The club believe that he's the man to turn it around, and he probably is. To be honest, if he feels like he can carry on, then I don't think Liverpool will drop him at all. Whether he feels like he can, he's had a tough year personally. There's been a lot of factors influencing Liverpool's bad season. I don't want to keep going on about it, but the injuries are a big thing. That's why I think if you ask me the same question at the end of next season and they're nowhere near the title, I think there should be questions asked of Klopp.
Right.
But that is the big if. If Virgil van Dijk comes back, Joe Gomez, Matip, whoever they sign.
This is why I said, do you reckon Van Dijk now under more pressure? Obviously, we answered the question already, but I do feel like Van Dijk could be put under more pressure now because at the end of the day, he actually has competition now as well. So, for example, say Van Dijk doesn't perform, there is other centre half there, and even though they might not be obviously as good as Van Dijk, there's a chance now for those players to possibly perform well in training and go to think Klopp might have a think about, well, okay, then these players perform really well.
What it is shown this season is that the backups and centre half are just not good enough for Liverpool. I think Nat Phillips has been okay for him. I think he's been the only one really, but Kabak, I know he's only had a few games, but he's not really shown world class category that you'd associate with Liverpool.
They've signed him. They signed him from a bottom of the club Bundesliga side who conceded the most goals all season, and they think he's going to be the best centre half partnership to get in the club who are bottom of the league. It doesn't make any sense to get forward. Possibly you'd think that you sign someone perhaps from like Upamecano. He had 6 months left on his contract. Bayern now snapped him up. You think Upamecano might come?
We've not seen that lad from Preston yet either, have we? So
no, we haven't. No.
And who else was there? They've tried countless people. Who's the other youngster? There's Nat Phillips and there's Reece Williams. He wasn't good enough, was he? No. So honestly, I just do think that a lot will be made of this season if they don't get the top four. And I agree that Liverpool should be in for some criticism because even, like they're looking at it and they're going, well, City had problems last year and they didn't win the title. Yeah, of course, but City did manage to get the top four. If Liverpool don't manage the top four on a season where it feels like everyone is trying to throw the top four like kind of last season, there's not as much competitiveness in terms of from Arsenal and Tottenham as previous seasons. Right. I do feel like it could be a bit of a disaster for them, especially revenue as well. Well, you think if they want to sign a proper number 9, Erling Haaland has to choose between Manchester City, who've just won the Premier League and are going to be in the Champions League, and Liverpool are not going to be in it. He's going to choose Manchester City every day, is it? But if Liverpool are in the Champions League, there's more of a competition.
There is only 12 games left for most teams as well in the Premier League. There isn't much time left. You forget about that, how long we actually got left.
Yep.
They've lost 7 games this season, Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's more than
a lot of draws as well.
That's more than Man United. Like, you think of how poor of a start Man United apparently had this season. They've lost nearly double as Man United have.
Yep.
I've got Chelsea next game, Liverpool, which is going to be a massive, massive game. Who's going to get top 4, and I feel like that could be the deciding one, really. Leicester, I agree what you said about Leicester. I feel like they are 6 points clear currently of Liverpool in 6th and 5 clear of Chelsea. But we'll have to see the next game. They've got Burnley.
So reliant on Vardy at the moment in time.
They've got Burnley next game, Leicester, and that's one of those teams where Burnley will just sit back and just suck pressure up all day. And
yeah, they need to bounce back from that Arsenal game, don't they? 100%.
But I feel like I don't think West Ham will stay there, unfortunately. Sorry, West Ham fans.
Do you know what? I do want to give some credit to West Ham because I just think there's shades of them that you just think, yeah, they're a really, really good side. And with everyone kind of sort of throwing at the moment, I don't know what their schedule's like coming up, but they're a good side, man, and they'll pick up wins against good teams as well. So if they can keep there and in the battles, they could sneak it. But I still do think that Liverpool will go on some sort of not run, but will pick up important points. Like this weekend, Chelsea will be a big one. If they lose that, then they're in big trouble. But Chelsea under Tuchel have got sort of a rhythm going. Maybe they weren't as great as they could have been yesterday against a side who were really poor. And again, I think United have got second on lock, so it's between Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea and Liverpool.
We could see a Manchester United, Man City, Everton, West Ham. Because if Everton win their games in hand, they go to 4th. Yeah. You could see Leicester, like we said, perhaps drop off. So you could see...
It's all ifs and buts in it, though.
Exactly. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you could see... I mean, Man United didn't really play great for me yesterday. I've seen them.
No.
By the last 5 minutes. Again. So...
Top 6 record in it with Man United, but United will finish top 4, 100%.
They are 6 points clear of Chelsea at the moment. So...
Yeah.
Perhaps, but... Like they're saying, they're not going to... You're not going to see another game like that Spurs game ever again. I don't think.
They play.
We've gone completely off topic of Liverpool here, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's Liverpool being in the top 4. I mean, United play City next weekend, so if City beat them and the teams are in and around pick up points, they could be dragged into it. But I personally just can't see a world where United have such a drop off that they fall outside the top 4 at this moment in time. I think they've already kind of done the groundwork.
Do you think perhaps if Bruno gets injured, then you could see that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think they get relegated if he got injured.
You could see the games Bruno hasn't scored, how many points they get this season on it.
Yeah.
Same as Salah, perhaps Liverpool. Could be, are they too reliant on Salah? Maybe a question.
At the moment in time, they are very reliant. Yeah, too reliant on Salah up front for goals. But even Salah's not performing to extremely high levels that we've seen in the past. But his goal scoring, you cannot argue.
Well, like we said before, if you're not going to get a good striker in if you can't get Champions League football, like you say, Man United or Man City perhaps want Haaland. Okay, we've got Champions League football. What Liverpool got?
Yeah, they can't rely on him to be producing so much every season. It was like I know Bruno got a lot of slander yesterday, but you can't expect him to do it every game. You know what I mean? That is impossible. And it's the same with Salah. I think like they're too reliant on his goals. Firmino isn't popping up with as many goals as you want your number 9. I know he has a different role within the team, but even that, he's not as good as he has been in recent years. And Mane's not getting as many goals as he has done in the past. So I think changes in the forward line will be needed for me. Diego Jota could be that guy.
Yeah, I also do feel like as well, Liverpool, Man United, I feel like do have the biggest fan bases in England.
Yeah,
100%. So there's a lot more pressure on both of them to perform, both of the teams. So if they're not being consistent as they are, they do feel like more pressure is given to those players, for example. So say Alisson, I know, didn't have a great game. For some example, say that was Fulham, for example, he wouldn't bat an eyelid. But because of Liverpool and who they are, Alisson's now Adrian, for example. So it's just not performing. They put certain expectations, I feel like, on Man United and Liverpool to be considered the best team they can be. Like I had a discussion on Twitter before about the Man United, the Sir Alex Ferguson time, and how Man United now need to move away from that. I feel like Liverpool now have got to this stage where last season they thought they were invincible, and now they suddenly just realised this season actually we're not. We need to try and
They need to completely freshen it up. Not completely, but they can't just keep going the way they are, because it's despite, as we said, constantly injuries. No team in the history, even when Sir Alex Ferguson was at his peak, he had to constantly freshen it up. He didn't stick with the same team. You know, the team evolves because football finds him out, unfortunately, and that's how it happens. Great teams come and go. We're talking about what we said about on Twitter. I made the point that City's the only player from City's first ever title win, which wasn't long ago. It was 8 years ago, even though it seems like a lifetime ago. It was Sergio Aguero, and he's played like one Premier League game so far this season. So there is this constant need to evolve. I just do think that we need to see Liverpool next season before we make a proper judgment on where this team's at in terms of its cycle.
So, final thing for the video: where do you think Liverpool finished this season?
Fourth.
Okay. I'm gonna go 5th.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go Leicester drop out, and I say Chelsea would get 3rd, and I think Everton would get 4th.
That'd be a big call. That'd be awful.
I know, but I do feel like Everton aren't consistent either. But I feel like Everton now have a better all-around club than currently at Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool in current downfall and decline because everything that's going around at the club at Liverpool at the moment, especially just lost the derby as well to Everton, for Christ's sake. I've been done like 25 years.
No one's coming back.
Duncan Ferguson's crying on the pitch. How good it is for Everton. I mean, yeah,
no one's coming back soon, are they? So it's not like they're coming back.
This could be the season for Everton to finally make that push for Europe under Big Carlo. So on that note, Everton are going to finish it above Liverpool, and first time for the end of the video. Happy? Liverpool fans, let us know if you agree or disagree. Do you think personally that if Liverpool will get top 4 this season, or do you reckon they won't? Where do you reckon they might finish 8th, for example? Do you reckon they could finish? Do you reckon they finish above Man United still? You let us know in the comments. We're going to post obviously on TikTok as we always do. Yeah. YouTube as always. We will try and do 2 videos a week for you guys, like we currently do at the moment. But yeah, we'll also thank you very much. We've got 60 subscribers recently as well, which is great. Please keep on sharing and doing your support as always, and we'll
I can't wait to start live streaming, man.
I know. Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.